Okay, so today we're going to be going through the three law firms that help out with Texas sales. Okay, let's say you wanted to find out about some of the sales that are happening in Texas, and let's say your usual online resources aren't working. Okay, well, I want you to take down these three websites. Okay, so the first one that we're going to go through is McCreary, Veselka, Bragg, and Allen PC Attorneys at Law. Okay, so their website is www.mvbalaw.com. Okay, fairly easy. And you can see right at the front, about us. Committed to being the premier provider of innovative collection services for delinquent property taxes, court fines and fees, and other receivables. Okay, so what we want to do is, of course, look under delinquent property tax. Now, you'd think, oh, let's go to delinquent property tax. This is if you want them to help you collect delinquent property tax if you're the county. What we want to do is go into the top bar across, or the bar that's going across the top here. Starts with home, goes to attorneys, and you can see the different attorneys they have there. The areas of practice, okay, locations, news, tax sales, events, links, contact. We want to go to tax sales. So, as you can see, this one helps out in Bastrop County sale and Wharton County sale. Okay. Now in November they also help out Grimes, Harrison, Limestone, and McClellan. And then they also will help trust properties out for sale, which is the Bastrop County trust properties. Okay. For right now we want to focus on the tax sale properties. We don't want to look at trust properties or foreclosures or estate sales, anything like that. Okay. So for right now, so if we're looking in November, Grimes, Harrison. Now Harrison's a fairly big county. Okay. So when you click on it, this is what it's going to bring up. It's going to bring up all of the information about the taxes and about the sale. Remember, one of the things I always tell you have to find out the rules about the sale before you can go jumping into it. So here's how it's going to go through. Okay. So prior to the beginning of the tax sale, a person intending to bid is required to register with the person conducting the sale and present a valid driver's license or identification card issued by a state agency or the United States government. Okay? So the amount of the opening bid is set out below each tract, and the bidding, must start at that figure or higher, and sums less than the given figure cannot be accepted. The minimum bid amount includes taxes, which were delinquent at the day of the judgment. This does not include the current tax year. Purchasers will be required to pay all taxes which accrued subsequent to the date of judgment. So, in other words, if the property went default in January and they're having the sale in August, you're bidding on the amount that was default by January, and then once you've bid on that amount, great, then you'll get to the amount to the clerk where you have to pay, and they'll say, okay, since January, this is how much in taxes have accrued to this point, and you'll need to pay that as well. Okay, so it's a 6-month redeemable deed. Okay, all property purchased at this sale is subject to a statutory right of redemption. This redemption period commences to run from the date the purchaser's deed is filed for record in the county clerk's office. Purchasers have the right of possession during the redemption period. There's a 2-year right of redemption for homestead property and property appraised as agricultural land. There is a 180-day right of redemption for all other property. 6 months. Okay. Anyone having an ownership interest in the property at the time of the sale may redeem the property from the purchaser during the redemption period. The redemption price is set by the Texas Tax Code as follows. Purchase amount, deed recording fee, taxes paid by purchaser after the tax sale, and costs expended on the property, plus a redemption amount of 25% of the aggregate total during the first year or 50% of the aggregate total during the second year. Costs are defined as the amount reasonably spent by the purchaser for the maintenance, preservation, and safekeeping of the property. Okay? So, if you have the property, and when you get it, it's not in livable condition, bringing it back up to livable condition could be considered as one of those costs. always, always, always check with the county before you dump money in. I don't want you to dump money in and then find out that that county says, oh, well, sorry, we actually won't redeem you for those kind of costs. Okay? That's a hard mistake to come back from. All right? So now, this is all the different, and again, this is just going to the law firm office that has the sale. Now, here are the sales. The properties are going to be sold on November 4th, 2014. Okay? So, notice, Tract 1, suet number, okay? Then you have the style, okay? So this is Harrison Central Appraisal District versus Dorothy Ruth Nancy Thomas, surviving spouse of W.T. Thomas, okay? So it's a 1/4 acre, more or less, out of the abstract, okay? And a manufactured home. So sometimes you'll find it's the land and not the home. Well, guess what? This one is the land and the home. Now, you'll see an account number there in the judgment through tax year. This account number, that's what you would take back to Harris County to be able to look up the property. Okay? So as you can see, decent sized list coming up here in November. Okay? Now I'm not going to go into any details on this list, but this just shows you the list. And again, it didn't take me very long to get here. Okay? So we're going to close that one. So this is mvbalaw.com. Okay? So that was for, I clicked on Harrison County. So they've got 6 counties that they help out with. Now they also do the trustee, but we'll count it as 6. So Bastrop, Wharton, Grimes, Harrison, Limestone, and McClellan. Okay. Now we're going to go to a different one. This is publicans.com. And this law firm is Linebarger, Gogan, Blair, and Sampson. Okay. And you can see right at the front here, there's collection services or there's property tax services. We want the property tax sales. Okay. So now providing post-judgment collection remedies. Okay. Now if you notice here, they have Texas tax sales, Pennsylvania tax sales, and Tennessee tax sales. Now in another video that I have online, I went through where they're helping out in Philadelphia County in Pennsylvania. Okay, so I'm not going to touch that this time. So let's go to Texas tax sales. Okay. So as you can see here, they have Harris County, Fort Bend County, okay? And it tells you how to go ahead and find the sales. It also tells you, okay, in order to secure the required written statement from the county tax assessor collector regarding your delinquent tax liability in any other county other than Harris County or Fort Bend, click here to download a printable request form that you must complete, have notarized, and present to the county tax assessor along with a payment of statutory fee of $10. You've got to know that information before you show up to the auction. Otherwise, you could show up all ready to pay and, oh, you didn't have this little document. Whoops. Okay, we don't want a whoops. Okay, we want you to be able to go and participate. Okay, so let's click here on Harris County. Okay, so we're seeing Harris County tax sales. Okay, so Mike Sullivan is the tax assessor. Okay. So in Harris County, the 8 county constables are responsible for holding tax sales of property with delinquent taxes within their precincts. Properties are jointly selected for sale by the representatives of the taxing units and their delinquent tax attorneys. The initial responsibilities of the Harris County Tax Office are to determine the amount of delinquent taxes due on each sale property and to handle the registration of bidders. So let's look over to the left. Parties involved. Date and time of sale. First Tuesday of each month at the Family Law Center at 1115 Congress. Okay, registration begins at 8:30. Sales are held from 10 to 4. Okay, here's the list of sale properties right here. So it says you can either get them from the publicans or from PBFCM. Okay, so both of them. And again, that's the other law firm we're going to go to is the pbfcm.com, Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott. Okay, that's where they're going to have their lists. Now here's for the registration. First sale prices. Okay, In order to purchase the tax sale property at the first sale, the bidder must pay at least the minimum bid, which is total of all amounts due in the judgment: tax, penalty, interest, and attorney fees, plus court costs, title search costs, constable fees, and posting and publication fees. The exact minimum bid is determined prior to the sale by the constable conducting the sale and is announced at the sale. If the taxes have accrued on the property for years after the time of the foreclosure judgment, i.e. post-judgment taxes, the tax sale purchaser is also responsible for these. Now notice they didn't say they were going to tell you what they were right then. Okay, we need to find them out. Payment for purchases: pay by cash or certified check. That's it. Statement of the taxes. Okay. Property resales: when a property does not receive at least the minimum bid at the first tax sale, it may be struck off to the taxing unit that initiated the sale. A new deed is filed reflecting the change in ownership, going from the owner to the taxing entity. Okay. Usually the property is posted for resale at a later date and can be offered at a lower opening bid. So this is where in Texas you're going to come across struck offs and seconds. Okay. Redemption: if the defendant in the tax suit wants to redeem their property, they must contact the purchaser. The tax code is very specific on the subject. If the defendant is unable to agree with the purchaser on the redemption amount, the defendant may tender a redemption affidavit along with redemption amount to the tax assessor collector. If the tax assessor collector accepts the redemption tender, a receipt for redemption is issued to the defendant for filing with the county clerk, and the purchaser is notified that the redemption proceeds are available. So they're told to contact you if you've won the property. If they cannot work out a deal with you on how much they need to pay you, so in other words, it said you can decide how much they can pay you. Okay. If that is not the case, then they can go and take it to the county and say, look, I offered to pay them this much. Will you accept it? If the county accepts it, you're forced to go ahead and let them redeem. Okay. So again, remember, it's the county's game. Okay. They're going to be able to control what you do on this. Okay. That's all right. Okay. And then, different constables and for the tax unit. Okay. So now we'll go look at this other law office. So Purdue, Brandon, Fielder, Collins, and Mott. Okay. So if you look at it here, the different things that they have: home, locations, services, events, in the news, tax, court fee and fine, toll road, court personnel only, to make a payment, career opportunities. Let's go to tax. Now, tax sale, tax resale, tax resources, tax FAQs. Okay. Always, 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 if a website offers you a tax FAQ, and remember FAQ stands for frequently asked questions, read it and digest it. Typically that's going to answer 80 to 90% of the questions you would bring to them anyway, which is why they put it up there. Okay, so take some time to read through it. Figure out what it is. Let's look at the tax resales here. The following properties were obtained as a result of no bid being received at the original sheriff's auction. After receiving no bids at the original sheriff's auction, the property is struck off to the taxing jurisdiction that requested the order of sale, and then jointly owned by all of the taxing jurisdictions that participated in the tax suit. The properties are then reoffered for sale as a tax resale property. Okay. So as we're looking down here, Anderson County, Austin County, Bosque County, Brazoria County, Burleson, Caldwell, Cass County's listed, but it's not a clickable link, so maybe they're updating their list. Chambers County, Collin County, and notice under Collin there's multiples. There's for Princeton, Blue Ridge, and Anna. Okay, you have Colorado County, you have Ellis County, and again 2 of them there. Fayette County, you've got Fort Bend County, 3 of them. Galveston County, so you have Dickinson and Santa Fe. Grayson County, you're going to have Pottsboro, SNS, Whitesboro, Whitewright, Hardman County, and in Harris, you've got Channelview, Clear Creek, Crosby, Galena Park, Huffman, Klein, Sheldon, Spring Branch, Spring, and Tomball. Hayes County. So you can see they have got a lot of counties here, guys. All right. Now here's another thing with the tax sales. in Texas. You need to be there. Okay? They don't do these online. Most of them, you can't even complete your registration online. You can print the form off, but you've got to go and take it and register it. So here's what I'm trying to sum up for Texas. It can have great opportunities. I had someone ask me, well, how do I do it where I can do the properties, but I don't actually want to own any properties. I just want to get paid the 25%. Okay, well, we'd take a property from the list. We'd evaluate it. We would see if the county has any prior tax information on it. Okay, so prior tax history. We want to see that they have a history of making payments. I didn't say they had to be perfect in making their payments. We just need to see that they have a history. Out of the last 5 years, they've paid 3 years worth, or even 2 years worth would give me cause to say, okay, this is one where they have a good chance of redeeming. Great. Well, that means I'm going to make 25% of my money. Well, still the thing is, we have to figure out, because it is an auction, how much are we willing to bid? If we bid too high, that's a hard trap to get out of. Because if you bid too high and you get the property, that means you're going to have to sell it higher to your buyers so that you can make money, which means it's going to put them in a bind and saying, well, wait a second, why would I buy it this high from you? That doesn't leave me enough room for my profit. Okay? We really don't want to be in that situation. Okay? So, 3 law firms within Texas. You have the PBFCM.com. You have Publicans.com. And then you have MVBALaw.com. Remember those. Okay? There are people that would be willing to go to these sales for you in Texas. Okay? So you can find other investors that could act as a proxy there for you. That's fine. So there are some good opportunities there in Texas. Hopefully this helped cleared up some of the mystery around it. And so we can go ahead and go from there. Again,